Okay, well, here we go. Hello, and thank you for joining me. I'm Jennifer Smith, your friendly neighborhood naturopath. I am not a medical doctor, though, and this information has not been evaluated by the FDA, so therefore it is not intended to cure, prevent, treat, or diagnose any disease. This is for general educational purposes only, so please speak with your healthcare practitioner for advice specific to your unique condition. So today's discussion revolves around peptides again, and we talked about that a little bit last week. But today we're particularly talking about two peptides that would be considered anti-aging peptides. And so we've got, as usual, 30 minutes of content, or I'll try to do my best there, followed by 9 minutes of Q&A in the chat, and that way I'll do my best to keep it right at the magical 39-minute mark. So. Just a quick review from last week. Peptides are short chains of amino acids, which are the fundamental building blocks of proteins. And our bodies contain tens of thousands of proteins. So most peptides are like shorter. They contain anywhere from 2 to 50 amino acids, but many are shorter than that. And some familiar examples that I'm sure you've all heard of are certainly insulin. That's a very well-known peptide that the body makes. Also oxytocin, the TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone that many of you are probably very familiar with, and of course human growth hormone, and there are many, many others, literally thousands of hormones. And it's funny, I kind of equate I equate peptides almost to mushrooms in the sense that somewhere around about 7,000 peptides have been identified, but there are estimates that there may be hundreds of thousands of peptides in the body. So it's kind of the same thing with mushrooms. They've identified a lot of them, but I think there are a lot more. So anyway, really why we're here is how can you benefit from peptides? That's why we're all here. And you've probably heard a lot lately about exogenous peptides that are mostly coming, from an outside source, like therapeutic peptides, they're also called. And exogenous just means outside, an outside source, other than what the body makes on its own. And so that source can be from plants, they can come from animals, they can come from other people, and a lot of them are synthetic. And the delivery method of those peptides, it can be orally, some of them can be taken in capsule form or liquid form. Some are topical, some are intravenous, and then the ones that you're mostly hearing about right now are through subcutaneous injection. And it's where they'll grab like a little chunk of fat around their abdominal region and inject it subcutaneously. And a lot of people are doing that themselves, where others are going to practitioners for that. But these mostly injectable peptides that we're hearing about are called biohacks because as we age, just like a lot of things, our endogenous peptide levels decline. And so once that happens, just different things occur, I don't know, injuries don't heal as quickly, or we find it harder to lose weight, or we lose things like muscle tone or maybe bone density. So that's the reason why a lot of people are getting peptides, primarily injectable peptides. And so you've probably heard a lot about what is it, Ozempic, and I know it comes under several other names of GLP-1s, and so that's a very famous one right now that a lot of people are using. There's also BP-57 that's used for I think for pain relief, for building muscle tone, pain, joint relief, that sort of thing, or joint repair, I guess. And I think it also can have some cardiovascular benefits. But most injectable peptides are not FDA approved, which I said last week that's not necessarily a bad thing because after all, the FDA has approved all kinds of deadly compounds. So anyway, but because of the fact that most of them are not FDA approved, a lot of people are obtaining them through compounding pharmacies or through online sources with under the loophole of research chemicals. And so you're saying that you're conducting like a science experiment. And so because of that, it's up to the user to verify the the quality of those peptides that they're obtaining online. And you definitely want to obtain third-party verification for things like purity and testing for like bacterial endotoxins, heavy metals, and even sterility. So there are some things you got to watch out there for. But a lot of these injectable peptides, some of them are just for short-term use only. Others need to be very closely monitored, and especially with the dosage. Some of them you want to start out with a very low dosage and work your way up. Others are the exact opposite. Others you want to dose heavily up front and then wean yourself down. And then some other peptides have injectable peptides, that is, have like cycling requirements. So some of them you have to do maybe 30, 40 days or so on, and then maybe take a few months off. And others might be like 5 days on, 2 days off, so on and so forth. So there's a lot to take into consideration. If you do use injectable peptides, it's not something to be taken lightly. You either want to do a whole lot of research on it, or you definitely want to work with a practitioner who's done the research for you. And so I'm not giving you this information to scare you or to pass judgment on anybody that's doing injectable peptides, because if a person has a serious health condition, or certainly if they're diabetic, for example, or especially type 1, or if someone has a severe pain, different things like that, I certainly understand going the injectable peptide route. So certainly no judgment there at all. I just want to let you know that there's another way to go about elevating your own native endogenous peptides. So that's really what we're here to talk about. And so those native or endogenous peptides that I'm referring to today are carnosine and epithalamin. So those are the two peptides that we're going to talk about today. And you can do that by wearing the carnosine and ALAVIDA patch, respectively. So, and for those of you who are new on this call, first off, these patches that we're referring to, you can see that I'm wearing one right here. And they all look pretty much the same, about the size of a quarter, and they're a form of non-transdermal wearable phototherapy. So instead of standing inside of a phototherapy machine, or in front of or inside of or using a laser, this is a form of wearable phototherapy that taps into your own body as the power source. And so these patches are all injection free, they're dosage free, they're prescription free, very easy to use. And so why is that? Why are they so effective? Well, because we are light beings. So think of these patches as little mirrors. They're considered chiral, meaning reflective. And so they just reflect back wavelengths of light that we all naturally emit as mammals. And so we are light beings. So rather than getting this light from an outside source, again, you're just tapping into your own body. And so with these patches, there are no drug interactions that way, because they're non-transdermal, nothing foreign enters the body, and you also don't have any dosage concerns to worry about. And so you simply wear the patches for 12 hours on and 12 hours off while you're fully hydrated. And hydration is key. I would recommend that whether you're patching or not, or even if you're using exogenous injectable peptides. You definitely want to be well hydrated. And always a good rule of thumb with hydration is half your body weight in ounces per day of clean, pure water. So in other words, a 200-pound person would drink 100 ounces of water per day. And now, thanks to all the EMFs that we're bombarded with constantly coming from our cell phones and laptops, I'm looking at my Wi-Fi router and 5G all around us, and all the smart TVs and smart appliances and all that. Because of all that, we're simply not we're not assimilating water hydration the way we used to. So it's harder. All the EMFs are impairing our ability to absorb water into our cells, and so it's not so much just staying hydrated, but kind of sipping throughout the day rather than guzzling all at once. And also, if you can get some quality electrolytes in at least one of your daily glasses of water, it's even better. just for improved conductivity and cellular communications. So that is key with this. So anyway, I mentioned non-transdermal patches. The first one we're going to talk about is the carnosine patch. And the reason it's called Y-age carnosine, it's in a series of three patches that came out around the same time frame. And furthermore, you can't trademark a natural substance that's already occurring like carnosine. So this is Y-age carnosine, but we all refer to it as the carnosine patch. And the carnosine patch reflects back wavelengths of light that elevate carnosine. And carnosine is a dipeptide, meaning two. And those two peptides are beta alanine and L-histidine. So those are two peptides that we naturally produce. Or amino acids, I'm sorry, to form this peptide. And so carnosine is known as the longevity molecule. Carnosine is fantastic. It is a very broad spectrum, has a wide range of benefits. I kind of equate carnosine to those of you who are already patching, who are familiar with this technology. I find it somewhat similar to X39 in the standpoint that it can do so much for the body by delivering a wide range of benefits. And like I said, it's known as the longevity molecule, and so it's found primarily in higher concentrations in the brain and in the muscles. Or in muscle tissue in higher concentrations, but it's also found in some other parts of the body. It's found in the GI tract, for example, and it's found in our tears. You've got carnosine in your tears, and you may have even seen carnosine eye drops before. You can buy carnosine eye drops, and so that probably gives you some clues as to what some of the benefits of the carnosine patch is, because again, the carnosine patch is elevating your own native endogenous levels of carnosine, this dipeptide made up of those two amino acids. So obviously, it's found in high concentrations in the brain, so it does promote brain health and helps prevent cognitive decline. And also, I would say one of my favorite benefits of carnosine is it helps you to release aluminum from the brain. And while we're not allowed to really use any diagnosed disease names, I think most of you probably are aware of a particular health condition in the brain that's associated with high levels of aluminum. And so, if you can help naturally release aluminum from the brain, that's going to help. Prohibit a certain health condition from developing a neurological condition associated with memory loss, let's say. And boy, I sure wish I had known about this 30 some years ago, 40 years ago, when my beloved grandfather developed that disease. But anyway, people are shocked to find out how much aluminum we have in us. And we get aluminum from so many sources, obviously from aluminum cans, beer cans, soda cans, things like that. Antiperspirant contains aluminum, and it's especially worse for women because if you shave your armpits, those are open, and then you apply antiperspirant, and it's a direct pathway into breast tissue and other areas. So that's another source of aluminum. A lot of pharmaceutical drugs contain aluminum, unfortunately. Even saline, if you go into the hospital and you get an IV of saline, there's oftentimes aluminum found in there. What's being sprayed in the sky, that's aluminum. Certain pots and pans. Cosmetics, lots and lots of sources of aluminum, unfortunately. So anyway, that's one of my favorite benefits of carnosine is it helps your body and brain to release aluminum that we do not want in us. I also mentioned that carnosine is found in your tears, and so obviously carnosine is good for eye health. Carnosine can even help protect from let's call it visual degeneration, I'm sorry, in promoting or prohibiting eye cloudiness. It's so hard not to speak in terms of disease names, but let's call it eye cloudiness. It can help prohibit that and even help people recover from that. So it helps protect muscles, joints, and connective tissue to promote for faster recovery from exercise, and also to support mitochondrial function and oxygen utilization. So think of well, first of all, your mitochondria is the powerhouse of your cells, and so a lot of athletes, both professional and amateur athletes, love carnosine to where, obviously before, during, and after exercise or working out of any kind helping you to recover more quickly and providing more endurance. But I mentioned the word oxygen. Think back to, what is it, 5 or 6 years now, when there was a what they called a respiratory disease going around. And come to find out, it really wasn't a respiratory disease, was it? It was more of a blood oxygen condition. And so carnosine helps with oxygen utilization. So again, I wish I had known about these patches back during those days. But anyway, another wonderful benefit of carnosine is it helps to balance the glycation process to regulate blood sugar levels. Again, no disease names, but just saying blood sugar levels. We all know about that and glycation. I also mentioned earlier that carnosine is found in higher concentrations in the heart, and so it can promote cardiovascular health and enhance like the endothelial function, which is like the inside of your blood vessels, and vasodilation, so promoting healthy blood flow. Healthy flow of blood. So, lots and lots of people are on, anticoagulant drugs. And so, carnosine can help with that is all I'm going to say. So, in fact, I've known of people who have used the carnosine patch and eventually work their way off of those drugs. And again, I'm not recommending that at all. That's something you need to work with your doctor, your medical doctor with. But I'm just saying. And so yeah, many different cardiovascular conditions that we can't really talk about. But when you think of carnosine, think of brain, heart. Blood vessels. And by the way, carnosine, there aren't a whole lot of food sources that contain carnosine. There are no plant sources that contain carnosine, but it's found in meat and animal protein. So people who are vegan or vegetarian, a lot of times they are carnosine deficient. Just saying. And another benefit of carnosine is that it helps protect telomeres. And so telomeres are directly tied to longevity. They're the ends of our chromosomes and our DNA that fray and shorten with age. And again, telomeres are directly tied to longevity. So that's a fantastic benefit. And so again, I mean, I'm sure there are a few that I'm forgetting here, a few benefits, but as you can see, carnosine provides a wide range of benefits, very similar to X39. There's so much that it does for the body. And once again, we're not taking a carnosine supplement that can be partially deteriorated by stomach acid. We're not taking a carnosine injection that may be coming from whatever source. We are merely elevating our own native or endogenous levels of carnosine by wearing this little patch for 12 hours a day. And there are multiple placement recommendations. I oftentimes wear the carnosine patch on my C7, on that bone that sticks out, your cervical 7 vertebrae that sticks out when you bend your head down. But there are other locations you can place it on the body as well. And I typically wear the carnosine patch every other day, or actually I wear it Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. And then the opposite days to that, I wear glutathione, and that's probably another conversation for another day. But I tell you, if I had a heart condition or a brain condition or an eye condition or something else that was, more specific to carnosine, I would wear that patch every day. But 12 hours on and 12 hours off while you're fully hydrated. So that is the carnosine patch, the Y-age carnosine. Now, the ALAVIDA patch is the other one we're going to talk about tonight. And it reflects back wavelengths of light to elevate the epithalamin peptide, which is known as the fountain of youth peptide. And that peptide is produced in the pineal gland. The pineal gland is this teeny weeny little gland gland that's right back here, kind of in the center of your skull, but up here a bit. And it's mighty but small. It's pine cone shaped, which hence the name pineal, and it performs quite a few functions for being so small. Not the least of which is producing epithalamin, and and also you've probably heard of people getting epitalin or epitalin, however it's pronounced. There are different pronunciations, but or epitalin injections. Well, again, subcutaneous peptide, and that is the synthetic version. And again, no judgment here. I'm not judging anyone for getting these peptide injections, but I'm just stating the differences here. And so this is merely elevating your own native endogenous levels of this beautiful peptide known as the Fountain of Youth peptide. So epithalamin is the natural form, and then epitalon is, or epitalum, multiple different pronunciations, but that would be the synthetic version that is injected. And that's one that not only is it synthetic, but it's one that requires dosage, a certain number of days on, a certain number of days off, and cycling and different things like that. But anyway, we are here to talk about the natural version that we're elevating with the ALAVIDA patch, epithalamin. So the benefits of epithalamin, my gosh, again, quite a few, but it helps to promote collagen production to smooth wrinkles and scars, as well as just promoting smoother skin, more firm skin, evening out skin tone, and also provides vital organ function. So there is some overlap too, by the way, between these two peptides. So you may have heard me say things about organ function with carnosine, and ALAVIDA also helps protect the organs. You're also going to hear another overlap here about telomeres. The main difference is carnosine is more along the lines of protecting your telomeres in the state that they're in, where ALAVIDA can actually help lengthen telomeres. Now, there are very, very few things out there that can actually help lengthen telomeres. Quite a few things that can help protect telomeres, exercise and extreme like meditation, things like that. But the ALAVIDA patch, which elevates epithalamin, actually helps lengthen your telomeres. And again, your telomere length is directly tied to longevity. So I love that benefit. If no other reason to use the ALAVIDA patch, that was enough for me. That's all I had to hear. So as a matter of fact, I kind of joke and call the ALAVIDA patch the trophy wife patch, because I do so little for myself. I'm about as low maintenance as it gets. Again, no judgment here, but I'm just not one to get Botox or fillers or anything else that people are using out there these days. But I know I need to do something because I'm getting up there, and I'm actually 18 months older than my husband. So before he trades me in on two younger models, I feel that the ALAVIDA patch has been kind of helpful in that there. But anyway, let's see. So again, the carnosine patch, which is technically YH carnosine, helps to it's called the longevity molecule, and it delivers a myriad of benefits. And you've probably heard of peptide stacking, which is a term that's being used primarily in the injectable peptide realm. So a lot of people will quote unquote stack multiple peptides, and they're spending a lot of money to do it, which is fine. Well, you can certainly do peptide stacking with LifeWave's patches as well, our non-transdermal phototherapy patches. And so this would be a perfect example. Like I mentioned, some people wear the carnosine patch every single day. I tend to wear it 4 days a week, but I do wear the ALAVIDA patch every single night. One of the other benefits I just thought of the ALAVIDA patch, elevating epithalamin peptide, is that it helps to promote higher levels of melatonin production, which is your sleep hormone. And so for that reason, the Alavita patch is recommended for nighttime use. And the carnosine patch can be worn day or night. However, I wear the carnosine patch during the daytime. There are several different reasons that I wear the carnosine patch during the daytime versus at night. One of those being is because of the fact that it does have some, it's a potent antioxidant. It's our most powerful antioxidant next to glutathione. But also the benefit of that, it helps the body to release aluminum from the brain and from the body overall. I want that going on during the daytime because whenever you're doing any kind of detoxing, which is this isn't a harsh detox, but nevertheless, your lymphatic system is really the last. Think of it as your final sewage system, your overall master sewage system, and it's what grabs the toxins and flushes them out of the body. But your lymphatic system does not have a pump. And so it's only moving if you're moving. And so that's why I like to wear a patch like carnosine during the daytime, even though technically it can be worn day or night. And also, I have heard of some people that wear the carnosine patch at night for 12 hours at night. And they say that it gives them like wild, colorful, vivid dreams. And for some people, that's a good thing. Other people, they're not too crazy about that. But, I have heard that from some people. So again, I prefer to wear the carnosine patch during the daytime. So again, carnosine elevates the carnosine peptide, which is naturally occurring in the body, known as the longevity molecule, and the ALAVIDA patch elevates the epithalamin peptide, which is known as the fountain of youth peptide, or I call it the trophy wife peptide. And, that's produced in your pineal gland, unlike the synthetic version that people are getting injected. So you can use these patches separately. They're all designed to work to stand on their own, or they can be used in conjunction with each other, and you can call it peptide stacking or peptide patching or whatever. So anyway, I managed to make it right at the 30-minute mark. So before I start reading questions in the chat, you're welcome to start typing questions in. I'd like to remind you to be sure and connect with the person who invited you to this call in order to purchase these patches. If it's not me, go ahead and contact them and thank them for inviting you to this, because they did it because they care about you. And, we all work together as a team, and the person who invited you to this call can certainly help guide you in your patching journey, and they can help you to get the best prices for this wonderful phototherapy technology. So let me go ahead and look in the chat here and look and see what questions we've got, because we're right on schedule for time. And let me see here with this new update in Zoom if I can figure out where the Q&A is located. Okay, is the aluminum removed by the liver? Yeah, good question. So aluminum can be removed by the liver. The liver is certainly your largest detox organ. Um, but the way that carnosine works is it can just help the body to purge it effectively on its own, and some of it can be by the liver, some of it can be excreted through the kidneys into the urine, and in other ways. Even when we sleep, which is another reason I love ALAVIDA, because ALAVIDA helps promote deeper sleep by helping the pineal gland to produce more optimal levels of melatonin, the sleep hormone. And all kinds of things occur when we sleep. So if you're not getting good sleep, you're just simply not healing. Because when we sleep, that's when the healing, cleansing, detoxification process occurs. All kinds of magical things occur when we sleep. And so yeah, your brain actually, your glial cells, which are the cells in your brain, a certain type of brain cell, they actually shrink when we sleep. And that way the fluid and toxins and things can flow more easily to help be excreted through the body. So our bodies are so magical. I mean, we are just so divinely designed. It's truly mind-blowing. And to say that we've even come close to figuring it all out, is there's no way. I mean, I think hundreds and hundreds of years from now, we are still going to be learning more and more about the body. But yeah, your brain does have its own lymphatic system, if you will, and it's called the glymphatic system. So again, think of glial cells and lymphatic. It's called the glymphatic system, but it's only activated when you're sleeping. So yeah, sometimes I meet people that they say they hardly ever sleep much, maybe 3 or 4 hours a night, and it's no wonder they feel terrible because their bodies, their brains aren't detoxing, and their bodies aren't healing and recovering and repairing and regenerating themselves. But yeah, that's what occurs during the night. So you have different methods of excreting aluminum from the body, but carnosine is a fantastic way of helping that process. Other questions here, feel free to type in the chat. Unfortunately, I've got some issues here with my Zoom, so I'm a little nervous about doing any kind of verbal questions here. So we'll just keep it all written in the chat. Nothing at all? Okay. Gosh, is aluminum a cause for um, shaking legs? It can be. It can be, and I know what health condition you're getting at, and thank you for saying that. Yeah, it can be high sugar consumption, which there's a direct a connection there because that other neurological condition associated with memory loss is also connected to not only high levels of aluminum in the brain, but also high levels of sugar. So again, one of the other benefits of carnosine is not only to help the body release aluminum, but also to assist in the glycation process. So again, so much wonderful overlap here in many different ways. Let's see. Anything else? If you use two patches at once, do you need to drink more water? You know, that's a great question. No, you really don't. Again, half your weight in ounces per day is a good rule of thumb. And, just like anything else, there is such thing as too much of a good thing. So you can actually overdose on water. And, the biggest concern with drinking too much water, which, I mean, it takes quite a bit, but drinking too much water, you're, among other things, you can deplete important nutrients and especially minerals like electrolytes. But no, you can wear 3, 4, 5, 6 patches at one time, and the water consumption still remains the same. And I would say this whether you're a person is patching or not. I've been preaching the benefits of hydration for many years before I even knew about these patches. Half your weight in ounces per day is really a good rule of thumb. So a 150-pound person drinking 75 ounces of water per day. The main thing is not to guzzle it all at once and say, okay, I got my 75 ounces in per day. You want to kind of spread that out. Get some healthy electrolytes, or at the very least, a high quality salt that contains the essential minerals and things that we're lacking, like a nice Celtic salt, or Himalayan salt is helpful. I love Baja Gold salt. And there are lots of good healthy brands of electrolytes, or you can make your own. But yeah, kind of spreading it out throughout the day. And then I also recommend not drinking a whole lot of water when you're eating, because you don't want to deplete too many enzymes, digestive enzymes while you're eating. So try to spread your water consumption out throughout the day, and try to do it, around meal times, not so much during. Let's see. I've had fun with Y Age by saying Y Age agreed. And it's funny because the Y Age series, that those of you who are new to this or who aren't patching, there are two other patches in the Y Age series lineup. There are three patches. And yeah, Y Age, I agree. I know I'm almost 56, and I know there are a lot of people my age and even younger who complain all the time about having aches and pains, and they're tired and all of this. And it's like, they think that that's normal, and I just don't think that's normal. So I'm with you. Why age? No, no, thank you. There's no reason. Ain't nobody got time for that. Let's see. Anything else? Nothing else? Okay. I think we're good on questions here. I think I've answered all of those and we're okay on time. I'm still doing my best to nail down this time and be a one-man show. But thank you so much for joining me today with learning more about the carnosine patch, elevating the carnosine peptide in the body, and also the ALAVIDA patch elevating the epithalamin peptide in the body as opposed to epitalin or epitalon or um, one of the other pronunciations for the synthetic version. Again, no judgment if you're getting peptide injections. I just want y'all to know that there's another way, another option of doing that. So anyway, thank you all so much for joining me, and we'll be here same time next Wednesday for another Wednesday wellness call, and maybe I'll do a couple more patches that elevate peptides. We'll just stick with this peptide theme. So thanks again so much. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Thank you for bearing with me here throughout all these little tech issues I'm having. Have a wonderful evening. Bye bye.